I have nothing to scoop my peanut butter with.
What about your paw?
No.
Just use that paw.
Just use Frisco's paw.
Here, I got something. I got a little Prezi for you.
Oh my god. I'm not going to use your knife. Hey everybody. And welcome to our number 10th episode.
We did it. We made it a full year. We have been podcasting for 10 years. Or episodes. It's the same.
Okay. This year has felt like 10 years, so I guess, yeah, I don't disagree with you.
I will say, though, just for the record, as low-key as that just was, that's how this whole cast is going to be, because I am not drinking iced coffee right now, so I'm not zooming. I'm not a zoomer right now.
You haven't had any caffeine today?
I have. You remember when we were in a vehicle together?
We went to the Tim Hortons and we got the, what was it? The triple?
XL, triple.
Oh no,
There's
pugs.
A dog losing its fucking mind upstairs.
Oh no. It's Midna.
Oh.
She is such a bad influence.
Oh boy.
My mom's going to yell at me for talking crap about Midna.
No. Okay, so we we went to Tim Hortons and we were at the little drive-through, little boxy boy, and we just hear someone randomly, like, I couldn't tell you where they were, just yelled, "Hey, we're closed."
And they had like shouted it
what?
a couple times, but I didn't hear "we're closed." I just heard someone like somewhere shouting, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, that's weird."
And this is at like 4 p.m.
Not even 4 p.m.
This is
it was
at like
a little
3
after 3
p.m.
Yeah.
So then we went to a different Tim Hortons because it's apparently International Coffee Day.
Mm-hmm.
Got some triple iced coffee boys.
I love having Tim Hortons here.
But I don't have mine currently in my hand to like jingle into the mic like I did last week.
Well, I guess
everyone's going to be disappointed.
Yeah. They've come to expect it from you after the one time you did it.
I have a seltzer now. That's it. That's all I can do for you. They love it. They feel like they're here with us when they can hear my drink clanking around.
Is this the ASMR we were talking about earlier?
Mm-hmm.
I wish that was my jam. Stop making so much noise over there. My God.
Slamming things onto the table.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to take another drink because that was way louder than I thought it was going to be.
Please don't. You're embarrassing us.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Do we got any fun announcements?
Stickers are out this very day. Like, if you're hearing this, we have stickers in our possession. So, send us a slide. What's the kids? Slide on our DMs.
Slide on
and
to our
let us know
inbox.
Yep, and let us know that you want a sticker or 17.
Yeah, and you should also give us your address because we can't just magically make a sticker appear at your house.
I mean, at the rate that our mail's been getting delivered lately, just write on crayon, send to Mom, and just throw it in any mailbox, and it'll get there just as fast.
Yeah, pretty much.
Woof. Jesus.
Yeah. We did have some sticker requests, and I was like, you're on the list, lady.
Yeah. So let us know if you want a sticker. We'll get one going your way. Make sure to vandalize your city and or town with it, hypothetically, of course. And don't do crimes. And anything else?
We've got some new sick beats.
Oh, yeah. You very likely heard at the introduction of this cast, producer Tony, and I went to the Beat Laboratory and produced a couple of really spooky songs, and Ashley shot them down and said they can't be our theme song.
We don't have a spooky podcast.
I mean, they sounded pretty spooky.
They were good. Maybe we can sample some in like an unintended episode or something.
Yeah, just randomly. But we ended up coming up with something a little lighter, and so yeah, let us know what you think.
A little less spooky.
Yeah, but we're planning on setting up the front yard to be absolutely terrifying for children on the Halloween day.
They better let us do Halloween. I'll be so mad if we can't.
I mean, even if not, we'll just set up the lard to be as scary lard to be as scary as possible. We're planning on using at least one projector and one television, and
a tube television.
yeah, and some scary images and little staticky stuff. Yeah, should be fun.
Excellent.
Do you have any announcements?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There's a film that we watched.
Oh yeah, it's a difficult film to Google.
Yes, it
So,
is a
like-
one-word film.
Yeah, like if let's say, Pirates of the Caribbean, when I Google that, it gives me results that just show the film stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or the ride, one of the two. It was just called Next,
Next.
like that old MTV show.
Thank you, Next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you watch that a lot?
The MTV show?
Yeah.
I watched a lot of that, like dumb, just got home from school, this is on MTV bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
There was that. There was Room Raiders.
Oh my God, I was just going to start talking about Room Raiders.
Yeah.
That is, no thanks.
It's pretty gross, I think. Just in general, like the idea is a gross idea. Like, here, let this person like get all up in your privacy.
Yeah. And they never showed any of the really good stuff.
Yeah, like my under the bed meth lab type stuff.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. In general, I don't want anyone going through my business. Like, I had a hard enough time, like, with people that helped me pack when I moved.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just carrying boxes of my stuff. Like, there's stuff in there. Like, and it's not even, like, gross or revealing or anything weird. It's just, like, it's my stuff. Leave my stuff alone.
They already know that you're disgusting.
Yeah.
You're an animal.
Yeah.
Some of our listeners might not know what MTV Next or Room Raiders ever was.
I'll give you a quick breakdown. MTV's Next was a weird dating program on MTV, typically, right around the time the kids got home from school. So, like, in my case, around 4 o'clock. Where, as far as I remember, there were, like, 3 potential date persons for one person. So, like, a boy person and some, well, I think, did they get gay on
I
there?
don't know if they got gay on there or not.
Either way, so it was a person and then 3 potential suitors, and they would start a date with one of them, and then at a random point decide that it was time to move on to the next one, or I think they had friends watching, and their friends decided when it was time for them to move on to the next suitor.
I don't know if that's the case.
Either way, the idea was that midway through a date, they would just switch to a new person.
Yeah, like if they didn't like the person, they'd just say, next.
Yeah, real...
like, because sometimes, like a guy would be at the bus, and he'd see the girl walking towards him, and he'd already be like, next.
Yeah. They're like, woof.
And then Room Raiders.
This slob over here walking at me.
Yeah.
So Next was kind of like analog Tinder.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then, Room Raiders was similar in no way. It was you, person A, and then still 3 people, right? 3 potential suitors. But instead of meeting or talking to the person, they would just go root around in the person's bedroom.
Yeah, they'd like choose if they wanted to date the person based on their room.
Kind of gross.
Yeah. And like, okay, I was never a teen boy, but I know that teen boy rooms smell disgusting. Shout out to my brother, Cody. And they're just, no. Like, why would I ever want to be inside of a teen boy's room?
Were these teens, though? Or were they young
Maybe
adults?
like late teens?
See, that's what I was trying to figure out. I can't remember whether or not these were high school aged people or college aged people. But how funny would it be? They should remake Room Raiders, but it's for people over 40.
Oh
like
my
single people
God.
over 40.
No, that's what Queer Eye is for.
Oh, well, yeah, it's the same idea, I guess. But like just the idea of like rooting through some 40-year-old's house.
Whoa.
Like, ooh, divorce
Why
documents.
are you still single?
Hey.
Maybe they want to be single. I'm not hating on anyone who's over 40 and still single.
Until they just find some pictures of someone and then like a newspaper clipping of an obituary and it gets super dark. Like, oh, gosh, darn it.
Ugh.
I can't make jokes anymore. Like,
so apparently they did like dorm raiders, so that's definitely like college age.
Yeah, okay.
They have room raiders 2. They have Miami. They have Hotlanta, and then a bunch of other places. But it definitely seems like younger college age people, which younger college age men aren't really that much removed from teenage boys anyway.
I think in a lot of cases it's worse because
Probably.
then they have the freedom.
It's 2 men.
Well, they have the freedom and like don't have parents yelling at them to like clean up.
Take a shower.
Yeah, it's just everything's so gross. Room raiders, rural West Virginia.
Oh no. Room raiders Appalachia.
Oof. All right. Yeah, that'd be a time.
Speaking of Tinder, did you want to talk about your
That piece of
latest
shit app.
accessibility issues?
All right, boys and girls. I'm gonna go NPR on them because I just yelled that piece of shit app. I should be a little more kind. Traditionally, and over the last handful of years, I have used Tinder to find, well, I guess a wide range of things. People to chat with, people to date, people to be friends with. And in general, it's a pretty accessible app, aside from the very obvious tough points, which are not being able to see pictures of someone. And honestly, with Tinder, not being able to see the pictures makes me less shallow on, like, you know, the swipes and stuff. So
Except when you hand it to me and you're
I'm
like,
is this lady busted or not busted?
What's this lady's story?
Which, you know, still, that to me isn't necessarily a matter of attractiveness so much as did they take a shower this year kind of vibe. But so all that's good and well until a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, they updated the app and now I can't access my messages at all or my matches. So I can sit there and swipe all day. But then if I match with someone, just no.
Not for you.
Nope. I just can't get to it at all.
Do you think we should start like a Twitter campaign?
No, I thought there's like a contact button, which I can access.
Oh, hey.
I thought about sending them like a message that said, hey, for so long, you've been so good-ish. Might you consider making any slight modification?
Might you consider being good again-ish?
Yeah. So, I mean, it happens occasionally with certain apps where everything is fine, great, good, perfect, and then it updates and it's just broken. So
at least they make an effort, unlike Pokemon Go.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, still nothing. I mean, I say still nothing. I say still being 4 years of still. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, bad app. Tinder's now broken for me. So, which Facebook dating never worked for me. Tinder traditionally was okay. I downloaded Bumble? Yeah, I downloaded Bumble. That's the
girls message first. Yeah.
And it was completely inaccessible. I haven't tried any of the other apps or anything, but
no, OkCupid, no Plenty of Fish.
No. So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the next update it'll be accessible, or I can just reach out to them and cry.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
So. Anyway, sorry.
Film.
All that to say, the film's title is Next.
And the premise of the film. Well, okay, so we watched it on Amazon, and there was no AD.
Again.
Yep. So there was a lot of site attending that I did. And the premise of the film, Nic Cage, our boy Nic Cage, he, it opens with him drinking a martini at a diner. And
which
we both were like, a martini at a diner?
So, not exactly a diner, but very similar to a diner. The restaurant that I won't name in our hometown, or my hometown, with the waitress.
That we like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very diner-like, right?
Yeah.
They have beer.
Yeah, but like martini?
Just a straight, like, fancy-looking martini. In a martini glass.
In a martini glass, yeah.
At a diner. It's pretty strange.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have known it was a martini unless it had been in a martini glass. Like, if it was just, like, vodka in a different, like, a rocks glass or something, I'd just be like, yeah, he's just drinking a mixed drink, which is not as weird as a martini.
Right.
But then we learn he plays a magician in Las Vegas. Frank Cadillac.
Which is a pretty shitty magician name.
He also, he says magic tricks. He does not make any, doesn't make any references to illusionists or illusions. So he straight up, magic is his game.
To interrupt you, do you remember what he says inspired his name?
Yeah. He picked
2 things that he likes.
2 things.
Frankenstein and Cadillac.
So he just Frankenstein this name together.
Picks his own name and it's Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. 30 packets of ketchup.
Exactly.
So we're in Las Vegas. And
also known as Satan's asshole.
Oh, goodness. No offense, Gabriella, if you're listening.
No, full offense. It's pretty gross.
You've never been there.
Yeah, for a reason.
At least when I shit on New York City, it's because I've been there many times and I still hate it.
Yeah, Vegas is like New York, except everyone's drunker.
And it's a dry heat. Anyway, so
he's a Vegas magician. He
has a lady come up on stage, and her necklace falls into her glass, and he predicted it. It's wild.
You're missing the racism?
I was hoping you would forget.
Nope. It's always fun to point out racism in Nicolas Cage films.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't necessarily know, like, this is a situation where he can be like, well, my friend is black, so I can't be racist. Because the person is an Asian woman that he invites up on the stage. After saying, anyone here from the Orient?
The Orient. Oh.
Yeah, that old 1940s. But it's his actual wife, like his IRL Nic Cage wife.
Yeah. Alice Kim Cage.
Yeah. And her necklace, woo, your magic, I'll make your necklace fall off. Cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So now that we are past the racism.
Yep, got it.
There's somebody, Julian Moore, in the audience, and there's a gentleman next to her, and he's like, are you sure about this guy? So we don't know what the F she's after, but her name is Callie.
I immediately got the vibe that they were going to rob him.
Yeah.
Like he was
a mark?
Gotcha. That's, like when you heard them say that, I felt like,
Well, something exciting happens. So after the show, he's walking around all disheveled with another martini in his hand. And he's also narrating the film. So he talks about how, like, he gambles and he only ever bets against the house and all that garbage. And then we know that the house is watching him.
Yeah, it's like the pit boss camera deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think he's, like, done this before. But they can't tell, like, how he is winning. But he's not, like, winning a ton of money.
Yeah, because even in the narration, he says, like, never win too big.
Right.
It keeps their eyes off of you. Never play at certain games and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So what ends up happening, he goes to, like, cash in his chips, and we see, like, a robbery take place. There's a guy next to him who, like, goes to the woman in the next, like, window and says, like, give me all the money or whatever. And he ends up shooting the security guard and the woman behind the window thingy. But then we see time, like, go backwards. And then this is about to happen again, but Nic Cage, like, runs into him, slams him up against a machine, takes his gun from him while he's like laying on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And like the security comes up and like starts accosting Nic Cage, and he's like, he was about to shoot 2 people.
Very specific.
Yes, he says that specifically.
Like
he
an
was
idiot.
about to shoot 2 people.
Yeah,
like an idiot.
Like an idiot.
Yeah. And there's this whole sequence of like him escaping. Like he goes into the bathroom and like takes his shirt off. Oh, he's wearing this ruffled white button up, like the tuxedo ruffled shirt.
Oh, like the Seinfeld, the puffy shirt from Seinfeld.
I don't understand that reference.
Oh boy. Okay.
I don't watch Seinfeld. And he like takes someone's hat, and then he like leans down to like the cigarette machine, and like he keeps like just escaping like everybody. Like he leans down to tie his shoe. So they're trying to like figure out how the hell like he keeps like dodging them.
Right.
And he eventually like steals a car and leaves. And Julianne Moore like knows something is up with him,
Mm-hmm.
and she wants to use him for something. So she starts like digging to figure out like who he is, and his real name is Chris Johnson. And the amount of times they refer to him as Johnson in this film
is hundreds.
it's obscene.
Chris Johnson was a running back, right?
Such
Or is
a
it
generic name.
Chad Johnson?
It's a really generic name, so I have no idea.
NFL fans, hit us up. Tell me. But I think he was a running back for the Titans.
I thought you were going to say a running back for the tight ends, and I was like, nope, those are 2.
No, the Tennessee Oilers.
I remember those days.
No, it was when they were the Titans.
You're a Titan.
So, Chris Johnson, pretty
Chris Johnson.
bland name.
Yeah. I would change my name to Frank Cadillac if I were him, too.
Yeah, same.
But it's this you wouldn't probably have picked up on. It's Chris.
That's a hard one. It's tough to shit on names, particularly in a situation where there's a potential audience member that has that name. But just spell your name like the old traditional boring way, please.
Oh, like you do?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. It has caused me some problems having my name spelled in a way that no one else on this planet spells Lyle. But whatever. So Julianne Moore, does she have red hair?
Yes.
Okay.
I had to really, really resist calling her Julianne Redbeard Moore.
Is that a thing
Yeah.
that people say?
So from Knocked Up, remember how they have like that website? That's like Mr. Skin, where they like tell you who's like naked in movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, they call her Julianne Redbeard Moore because she's also red down there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
What films does she appear nude in?
That I don't recall.
Oh. See, that's the thing. So,
Mr. Skin could tell you.
I'm sure. Yeah. So some like interesting blind stuff here is that the more, and we talked about this a little bit last week, like the more fantastical and more not direct narrative stuff that happens in a movie, it's always interesting to see how audio description would cover it. So like in this situation where we saw like a flash forward, it seemed like, or like a jump, like seeing the future a little bit type thing. It's interesting how audio description in some cases covers that. And I can't remember what movie I was watching, but there was a similar thing that took place, and it very directly said, in an alternate scenario, this is happening. Or in a inverse dimension, like it will use like the phrasing of whatever like show or movie that's being described. I'm trying to think of what it was, and I'll have to find it and show you. But it's just interesting how the audio description will be very basic at the start of the movie or show, and as you, the viewer, are explained certain things by the narrative of the movie, the audio describer starts to pick up those terms and use them. So like an example would be at the very first Star Wars movie, before, like if you see a lightsaber, they would call it like a laser sword or light sword. And then once someone refers to it as a lightsaber in the film, they will then take on that word.
That makes sense.
they won't necessarily reveal things to you before the film itself reveals it. And it's interesting. So like in this case, we don't necessarily know what's happening with the whole like flashing forward thing. So I'd be interested to hear what they use, how they go about describing that. Yeah. But also another thing was like trying to remember, because you said Julianne Moore, so like trying to remember what she looks like. And it's a tough one because I get her mixed up with the lady from Zero Dark 30. Because that lady's a redhead too, right?
I don't know which lady you're referring to.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. But like certain celebrity people all start to kind of blend together to me, I guess.
Are you talking about Jessica Chastain?
Yeah.
I love her.
Does she look like Julianne Moore?
Only in that she has red hair.
Okay, yeah. So, see, like that, like they just become like these general looking folks. Like Katherine Heigl from the Knocked Up, right? That's who that is. And the lady from the blonde lady from what's the show on I think NBC?
What's the show,
Jordan? Not Parent. Is it Parenthood?
I have no idea.
I can't think of it.
What's the show about?
It's like 3 families.
Modern Family?
That's the one.
Oh, really? I would not confuse her with Katherine Heigl. I would confuse her with Kristen Bell.
Yeah, so all like there are like 4 or 5 of those women who all pile into that same like vaguely pretty blonde lady. So, but like Jessica Biel, who's in this movie coming up, that'll be revealed. Doesn't necessarily look like any other celebrity that I can like.
You said that her body is weird.
It is, yeah. Her shoulders are very broad. I just feel like she has like a very broad upper body, and it like goes slim down into like a tiny lower body. Like I just feel like her upper body is broader than I would have made it if I was making her. Like if I was in like a character create like a Sims, like when you make your sim.
You wouldn't make her like an upside down triangle.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I guess triangles don't have to be right side up, do they?
No, there's no like proper side to it. Like
so there's triangles. It's not really an upside down triangle, is it?
No, it's just like a flat part on top triangle.
Yeah.
Downward pointing triangle.
But you knew what I was saying when I said upside down triangle.
Yeah.
Interesting. What are we talking about?
We're talking about weird we got here.
Jessica Biel.
Yeah, Jessica Biel. So we get introduced to her. My brain
went somewhere else with Jessica Biel.
We get introduced to Jessica Biel pretty quickly here. Although so Nic Cage, Gone in 60 Seconds, a car to escape the police or security at the casino.
He makes it and he goes
to like some friend's house.
His dad, I think. His friend is his dad. His dad is his friend.
He's a guy whose voice is about that, so.
I don't think that's what he sounds like.
It's pretty close.
But he knows that she's going to come after him. He knows. Whoa.
Voiceover's chattering. Sorry. My AirPod must have fell out. Let me go ahead.
He knows that she's going to come. It's on your shoulder. Go. Oh, there it is. So he like essentially like what it looks like is that he's like playing scenarios out.
Right.
And like you don't really know like if he's just playing them out in his head or whatever. So it finally comes out that like he can see in the future by like 2 minutes anything that like affects him. So like he's not going to know about a earthquake in Bangladesh unless it like directly affects him.
Right.
So like that robbery directly affected him. And so he like essentially has this whole conversation with Julianne Moore where she like comes to this place and like has a proposition for him. She's like, I know there's something weird about you, but I don't know what it is, but she knows that it's some sort of future something or other.
Right.
So she's got like this proposition where there's going to be like a a big explosion or something in the future,
Mhm.
and she wants to know where it's going to happen. She wants to prevent it, obviously. But when she actually gets there, he's not there.
Right.
So he goes back to the diner where we saw him earlier,
Drinking his martini.
drinking his martini. And there was this thing that he kind of talked about earlier on, that like there's this like woman of his destiny or his dreams or whatever. Like he keeps seeing her, but like this was something that was well in the future. Like he didn't ever know when it was going to happen. He just knew like the time because he had looked at his watch and he looked at the clock. So he goes there like every single day at that time to see like if she's going to be there. So she finally happens to be there, and she like goes and sits down, and he approaches her and she rebuffs him, and like he does it several times. Like every single time there's like
Right.
a new scenario. Like he says there's some stupid pickup line.
Did
But-
you fall from heaven? 'Cause you're an angel.
Yeah, whatever. Then a different guy shows up who like accosts her and like has clearly stalked her, because he's like, why don't you just give us a chance? And I've been to the dry cleaner, I've been to your apartment, and blah, blah, blah. Like,
Who? I mean, I don't know. Maybe, are we poor?
yes.
Have you been to a dry cleaner
Ever?
at all?
No.
I don't think I have either. And-
Whenever I have something that's like dry clean only, I'm like, not for me.
yeah. Like, man, hope this comes out in the wash.
Yep. Sucks to be me, I
get
guess.
to roll the dice on this little guy.
So Nic Cage uses this guy as an in and like basically gets punched in the face
Mhm.
for this woman.
Yeah.
They end up like going to Flagstaff, or they're gonna go to Flagstaff. She's gonna drive him. Like they get started on this conversation, and that's where he's heading supposedly.
Did this
And like
did this hit you as this same opening vibe as
Between Worlds.
Between Worlds?
Yeah,
Like-
for sure.
Like physical altercation leads
Mhm.
to woman giving Nic Cage a ride hundreds of miles away for seemingly no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I just don't understand why he's starting out their like friendship like this. Like, oh yeah, I need to definitely go to Flagstaff for sure. Like it just seems weird, or I missed something. I don't know.
No.
So we see sorry, this chair is
You-
just so creaky.
Need to grease it up.
I know. Gotta get some WD 40.
Mhm.
Yeah. We have a scene where the casino manager from earlier, who was like looking at all the cameras and stuff and trying to stop Nic Cage,
Mhm.
he gets murdered by some unknown folks.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Vaguely Russian folks, or do we know that yet?
We don't know that yet.
Well, here you go. Spoilers. The bad guys are vaguely Russian. So strange.
Yes.
Never would have guessed.
It's wild. So Callie's still after him. She like interviews diner people because apparently like she found out where he was gonna be, but he's long gone because he's with Jessica Biel.
Mm-hmm.
We see a scene with Julian Moore in a gun range. I don't think we mentioned that she's part of like the FBI or something.
Yeah. She's clearly an agent of the government in
Right.
some way.
But there's like a scene of her in a gun range, and like I just don't understand why there are so many scenes of like people in gun ranges, and like of course she's a really great shot and stuff. Like, yeah, we get it. Like
Mm-hmm.
we know you people have guns. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's like how they frame this person as badass hero.
Mm-hmm.
Here they are in gun range,
Yes.
making all them shots. Which we talked about going to a gun range, and I'll be interested to report once we do whether or not I'm treated in a strange way.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm sure I will be.
We did talk about that earlier.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
So the two lovebirds, well, they're not lovebirds yet, but you know, spoilers. They are driving to Flagstaff, but there's like a big like flood or something that happens, so they have to turn around and sleep in at a hotel.
Do they stop at her place of work before that or after this?
After that.
Okay. I was gonna say because we get them stopping at her.
Oh wait, no, hold on.
I think it's before.
Oh, I think
that.
it was before
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, they stop at her place of work, and we find out that she works at a reservation,
Mm-hmm.
a Native American reservation.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Havasupai, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Ugh.
And they interact with some children at the reservation where she is a teacher, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the kids asks, like, "Oh, are you dating? Because he's looking at you like my brother looks at his girlfriend." Like that whole, and then, so we find out that it's like a federally funded school program at a Native American reservation.
I want to learn how to pronounce this Havasupai. Havasupai.
Havasupai.
Havasupai.
Got it.
It's like just like a song. So yeah, and they also make reference to the Havasupai shaman because white people.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, like Nic Cage is like, oh, I want to talk to a shaman, because apparently they have been known to tell the future, but like he's not told her of his future powers or anything yet.
Mm-hmm. So I think, like, genuinely, that is like very white people stuff. Like, I want to go see the magical, mystical other tribe type stuff. But I think maybe it's excusable in the case of actually Nic Cage has some kind of weird power, wanting to inquire with people who supposedly have powers.
But I mean, like, he's in his 40s clearly, and he hasn't yet.
Yeah.
Like, what's his deal?
Like, he just happens
Get on
to.
it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, then they go try to drive on to wherever they were heading.
Yeah,
and that's when they
end
get
up, in the hotel.
like a dead end detour thing.
Yeah, and oh no, there's only one bed in the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gonna go sleep in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a nuclear alert in Southern California, and apparently the FBI is not handling it well. And Callie,
They're in a full fucking panic.
Our Julian Moore, she's like, blah blah blah, you're not doing anything. Let's use every resource to get this magician.
Mm-hmm. Because the magician is capable of aiding us in stopping this nuclear bomb from exploding.
Correct. Oh my gosh. So like the next day, we cut to Nic Cage and Jessica Biel in the hotel room, and he makes her this paper rose that like lights on fire, and then it becomes like a real fake rose.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, "That was incredible." And then they kiss, like he says it like it was something that had already happened, and then they did it, and she doesn't like ask any questions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have a note here that says they keep referring to him as Johnson, and I'm 12.
Yeah, there were a couple of like phrases in this where I was just like, oh, why'd you have to say that like that? Like very The Office, that's what she said.
Yes.
But
yeah. So then, they kiss, and then they go to Boner Town. What did you call it? The intercourse or something?
Mm-hmm. Make coitus.
Ugh. They sleep together, and then she like goes out, and she's like, I'm gonna go like get us breakfast. And then Callie captures her and tells her all this fucked up shit about him.
I think she just walks up to her and says, hey.
Yeah, whatever.
Pardon me, miss.
I'm trying to be dramatic.
Well, I know, but like I couldn't remember which thing actually occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then she says, hey, that guy you're spending all this time with, turns out, big piece of shit. Look, here's a video of him basically robbing a casino.
Even though he like stopped the robbery.
Right. But like they're able to show her, like selectively show her the video in a way that makes it look like he robbed a casino, basically. From the security cam footage at the casino, and they say, hey, drug him so that we can come in and arrest him.
Yeah.
And they hand her a roofie pill.
They hand her a whole bottle of them.
Oh.
Like one wouldn't do the trick.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I assumed that they just handed her like a single pill.
No.
Because the mission scope is
you didn't
to
hear
drug
the
one person.
The jingle?
No.
Yeah.
No. That's crazy.
Yeah. They had way too many. She put the pill in his drink, and then she tells him, "Don't drink that. It's drugged." Like,
Right.
oh
Like
my God.
it's the tension of like, oh, is she gonna put it in? Is she gonna put it in? She does, and then it's, oh, is he gonna drink it? Is he gonna drink? And then she stops him.
Yeah. From here on out, it's like just kind of actiony. It's kind of like Face Off again.
Mhm.
Like, it's just
Yeah.
kind of like straight up action for a really
Yeah.
long time. He's basically gonna like fake like he took it and
Try to escape.
yeah.
Yeah.
In which he does a little bit. He jumps down a huge cliff. Oh yeah, the hotel was called the Cliffhanger. So he jumps down a huge cliff, and a
Mhm.
ton of people follow him because, of course, like Julianne Moore knows where he is. So a huge amount of people follow him. Jessica Biel like steers her car into like a bunch of stuff, like a water tower thingy. Like, she jumps out, but she like sets it on a trajectory to like knock down this water tower and like basically like make all of this debris like go down this huge cliff so that
The
no
way,
one follows
like
him.
when you were describing it, you were like, yeah, barrels and water towers and a bunch of stuff's rolling down this cliff.
Mm-hmm.
I imagined it as someone shoved a Cracker Barrel old-fashioned store and a mini golf center. All the props at a mini golf place just down this hill.
I mean, essentially,
Just all that
there
stuff.
was like
It's
a train car made of like recycled like steel and stuff,
wow.
and of course her car goes down the cliff as well.
Okay.
So he gets to the bottom of the cliff, and what's her face meets him down there. Callie meets him down there, and she's like, "You're just gonna let me die?" Because there's like all this debris falling from the cliff. He ends up saving her, and in the process gets knocked out. So pretty much just like they wanted.
Right.
And then the bad guys. So remember earlier when that casino manager got murdered?
Mm-hmm.
They're bad guys, and they captured Jessica Biel because they were also after Nic Cage.
Yeah. So at some point earlier in the film, the bad guys realize that the FBI is seeking one particular individual, and that person is Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
And they realize they must be seeking him to aid in capturing us, so we should seek him and murder him.
Mm-hmm.
So they kidnap Jessica Biel, and then we get Nic Cage waking up strapped to like a table or a chair or something.
A chair, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got like, I think you vaguely described it as like he's kind of like tied up or something.
Yeah.
And
essentially,
essentially,
he's got the eye thingies that keep his eyes open.
oh, Clockwork Orange
Yes.
type. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I actually put Clockwork Orange like shit
Yes.
in my notes.
Julianne Moore turns on the news and basically forces him to watch the news to find out when like the explosion stuff is going to happen. And he had been saying the whole time that like only like 2 minutes ahead of time, but he like flashes forward like hours and hours and hours and hours, and he sees Jessica Biel at the top of like a parking structure.
Mm-hmm.
She's strapped to a wheelchair, and she gets exploded. There are like bombs strapped to her, and he watches her get exploded on live television. And
that's hot.
The anchor who is like covering it, she is just like, she is distraught because she basically watched it happen.
Mm-hmm. Which, if y'all haven't seen Evil Genius on Netflix, if you're not interested in watching a man be actually exploded via a bomb strapped to him,
Woof.
Don't watch it.
Woof.
Because they show it like 17 times.
Yeah.
Not great.
I was not prepared.
I think we've talked about this on our previous episode, haven't we?
I don't know if we have or not. I know we talk about it a lot between the two of us.
Yeah. So at this point, and I'm not sure, it's tough to remember like when certain things were revealed in this movie, but in the Nic Cage meets woman, oh, there's the boy.
He's not grumbling though. He's just stretching.
So when Nic Cage meets woman in the diner, he mentioned something about this was the only instance where he could see further ahead than 2 minutes was when it related to this woman. So I think here we're supposed to understand that the reason he's able to see further ahead is because it has something to do with her.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I was getting here.
Okay. That makes sense. For however much this movie can make sense.
Yep. So then basically here he just says, "Fine, I'll help." Right?
He
Like,
loses his mind
yeah, he gets
and
quite
like demands
upset.
to be let out of the room, and they're like, okay, but then they like put him in a cell,
Mm-hmm.
like, and then he has to escape. So he doesn't like agree to their demands. He just figures out a way to escape.
Mm-hmm.
And of course he's really good at fighting because like he always knows their move, like
Right.
their next move. So he gets out. He goes to the parking structure. Julian Moore, of course, like follows him, and he says, "They killed her 2 hours from now." And like, I know that's supposed to be like serious and stuff, but the sheer fact that he's saying they killed her 2 hours from now just like gets me.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. So essentially he's used as bait, like the bad guys, you know, he is used as bait. There's a sniper like on another roof. Oh my goodness, Frisco. He's just got his head in my lap.
What a boy.
He's a boy. So there's a sniper across the way. And he so it looks like he gets shot, but you know how he's a magician?
Do what? Excuse me?
You know how Nic Cage is a magician?
Yes.
Okay. So he makes it look like he got shot. It was like a parlor trick, basically. Like he knew how close to the bullet to be without getting shot, but to make it appear as though he did get shot.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. But then there's like an FBI helicopter that comes, and the sniper starts like shooting at the FBI, and so they gun him down.
Okay. That makes sense.
So he never gets to like radio to the people that he killed Nic Cage. I guess it's just assumed. Apparently it buys him some time. So they go to like to save her. They keep like they're looking for her like in this place. Because they have like the license plate number, I think, of the van or something.
Oh, Christ. Okay, so let's talk about that. The scene where... Okay, I don't necessarily know what the quality of traffic cams are, but that's how they get the license plate number.
Yeah.
And there's a scene with the lady.
Oh, no. That's not how they get the license plate number. No, they get the license plate number by like him.
Oh yeah, okay. There's
There was
another
a scene earlier where like they were getting a tag off of the front of her, not a license plate, but like a permit sticker,
right? So
on the front of her car.
Listen to what I'm saying though.
Okay.
They were attempting to get the license plate number in that scene, and like, oh shucks, there's no front plate. So through this traffic cam, we get the whole zoom in. Can you zoom in more? Zoom in right there. And there's like a sticker in the window, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do instead of a license plate.
Yeah.
There is a 0% chance that any traffic cam in America would be able to like read down to that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I thought that it was funny too. Like it's always like that scene in movies, like enhance.
Yeah.
Like it'd be blurry as shit.
Yeah.
You'd not be able to make anything out.
So, but yeah, that was a weird one. But yeah, so for the van's license plate though, Nic Cage like sees it basically in the future and tells them. Okay, yeah.
So they go through this gigantic action scene where like he's leading like the FBI group. There's a lot of shooting. He's basically like directing them from the future, like, don't go there, don't trip this wire, don't do that.
Right.
And then we get to this point where he is going to scope out a bunch of different places, and we see him like split himself into like 10 different Nic Cages. And so he's like looking around this like warehouse from like a bunch of different angles and stuff, and like there are just a ton of Nic Cages just like standing around.
Which this is just a visualization of him imagining a future where he's doing these things, right? That's what we're supposed to. Okay.
Yeah. Eventually, like they kill all the bad guys and they save the girl, but then the bomb explodes.
Yeah, like he goes through all this trouble, and honestly, like this is how I think certain movies should end this way. Sometimes the bad guys win.
Yeah.
And that's what we get here. He goes through all the trouble, saves her from the bad guys, but then
the big bad bomb explodes.
The big bomb goes off anyway. Cut to Nic Cage and Jessica Biel in bed.
Like back in the past?
Yeah.
What?
Because the entire time from the moments after they wake up for the first time in the hotel room, all up until that bomb just went off, was just Nic Cage seeing into the future.
Do you think he was seeing it like in a dream because he was sleeping with her?
I didn't consider it, but either way, dumb, very dumb. Dumb, stupid, and
so
bad.
So dumb for real.
So essentially none of that stuff happened, and he wakes up in the hotel room and decides that the quickest and easiest route is to just go help the FBI immediately.
And he asks them to keep her out of it. That's his one condition.
Yep.
And then the credits roll from
the top
down instead of the bottom up.
So weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, what we essentially got there was here's an entire movie, and then at the end, well, this was just kind of what he was thinking about.
Mm-hmm. They like to do that in movies.
Holy crap. That was extremely frustrating and bad.
Yeah. Not great. He's pretty fit in this movie if we want to talk about hot Nic Cage.
Or bad Nic Cage, yeah.
He's pretty fit. His hair is longer, but not like greasy and gross. But you know how he's got like that huge forehead and the receding hairline? Like it's just nothing. So he's very fit. I'm a fan. Did you want to guess the time period that this was placed in?
I think it was from 2016.
No.
Earlier?
Definitely. You don't even know when the movie was made?
No, I don't know when this movie was made at all. I'm trying to think if there are like any cell phone things. I mean,
I tried not to like give you like too many hints because I know in the past that's kind of like giving stuff away.
There's an iPhone. Yeah. No, my guess would have been 2016, but I guess it's saying so much earlier, maybe 91.
No, that's way too early. Like you just went from one side. It's from 2007.
Okay.
So it's around that time-ish. All the cell phones were either flip phones or like the Nokia like brick phones.
Yeah. Okay. So that's when it was shot, filmed, and also set in that same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean...
You imagine at least that it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's... that's understandable. So,
yeah.
Is Jessica Biel extremely attractive?
She is. Yes.
I always thought she was kind of just, she's fine.
I mean, she's attractive, but her as a human being, I have problems with.
Oh yeah, isn't she's like anti-vaxxy?
She's an anti-vaxxer. Yeah.
That means she's a dumb idiot moron.
I'm not even going to tell you not to alienate our fans.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll alienate every single fan that is anti-vax. Sorry. Actually, I'm going to interrupt you.
Oh,
let's get blind with it.
Boy.
I'll tell you, a thing happened the other day on the internet that made me extremely angry.
Okay.
And it related to vaccines and blindness.
Okay.
So the disease that I have is inside my body from the time that I'm born, right? And then it seemingly, as far as the like medical community is concerned, can either be completely randomly triggered, or there can be an environmental trigger. So, for instance, like some kind of like physical trauma, like crazy shift in your diet, picking up like being a heavy smoker, heavy cocaine user, things like that can cause enough of a shock to your body that it just triggers this disease and you lose your sight, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were people on a Facebook group that I'm in discussing whether or not it's a good idea to vaccinate your child, assuming that a vaccination may present some risk of triggering blindness in the child. And what that is the same as the autism and vaccines consideration. Is, would you rather have a dead child from, some disease
Something
that we've got a vaccine for? Yeah. or a blind child. And the dead child answer is disgusting. And if that's the answer, the choice that you would make, you are disgusting. And I just want to make my stance on that extremely clear. That you should vaccinate your children, even if they'll lose their sight, because I'm pretty okay.
You're pretty more than okay.
So, yeah.
I like you around.
If you'd rather have a dead child than a vaccinated child, you can go fuck yourself.
Wow. All right.
Sorry, getting dark.
You're fine.
But on the brighter side,
this
I can't think of anything.
This film, it won an award.
Yeah.
To be clear, I support that as well. And while we're on the topic, I mean, I don't like to get overly political on this podcast because, like, if people want politics in their podcast, like, they can seek out
there are tons of
any kind of podcast. But we haven't talked about this previously. Well, we haven't on the show, but we have talked about it previously. But we are very pro, like, we talked about being like pro sex worker previously, but you and I have talked about, like, coming out on the podcast as saying, like, Black Lives Matter, Black trans lives matter. Like,
yes.
we're
no question. Yeah.
Just to be perfectly clear about that. And, we're sorry that it took us 10 episodes before we said those things. But that's where we stand on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no question.
Yep. So back to this film. They won the California On Location Award for Location Professional of the Year.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
For like the cliff stuff, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then they were nominated, a Teen Choice Award nomination, Jessica Biel, Choice Movie Actress for a horror or thriller.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. You want to rate it?
Yeah, 4.
That's my rating.
Yeah. I mean, it's not something that you should immediately throw into the trash can.
No.
It's not something you should suggest to a friend, but it is something that, given the choice between it and sitting in complete silence on an airplane, throw it on, I guess.
Where would you rank it? Like, would you watch this again or G-Force again?
Oh, I'd watch G-Force again.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't even remember. What did I rate G-Force? Like 2.1 or something?
Yeah, you're pretty critical of that one.
It's kind of a weird... It's a weird situation to... And I am truthful in saying that I would rather watch G-Force again, but it still gets a lower overall rating. But there were more, like... There were like a handful of okay-ish moments in G-Force, and there weren't really those moments in this.
Do you think it also has something to do with the fact that one was audio described and one was not?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would rather watch a bad audio described movie next to a decent not described movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably exactly what, is like subconsciously pulling me towards watching G-Force again.
Yeah.
Other than like my rate. So I had decided my rating before we started the episode, but like genuinely I enjoyed G-Force more after talking to you about it.
Yeah, no, I
like,
definitely agree.
It's so weird, but yeah, this was fine. It was whatever. Could have used more nudity.
Definitely could have used more nudity.
But
it was close. There was some towel scene with Jessica Biel. There was a sheet scene. Definitely could have used some more nudity.
Yeah.
Maybe some Nic Cage nudity.
Do we get Nic Cage nudity?
I don't know. Frisco, what?
Frisco my dog trying to like tackle you?
He's making noise for me. Like, I don't make enough noise as it is.
Do
you know what IMDb rated it?
Under 4?
No.
Go ahead.
6.2.
Nice.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not terribly surprised. I mean, it's you have to really try to get those like under 5 ratings from like IMDb and similar.
Yeah. I kind of want to know. So like, I'm not a person who like looks at reviews often before I watch a film. Do you remember when we used to be able to go and watch movies at the theater?
Yeah.
And for those of you who are not in Michigan and can go to the theater,
You probably shouldn't be.
I mean, there's that. But a lot of people are like, oh, you can go to the theater. No, because our theaters are, well, the Goodrich ones went bankrupt and I don't think anyone has bought them yet.
Yes.
And then I was reading on like the...
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I did.
I was like,
Okay,
someone bought the ones.
Listen, I don't like being told I'm wrong, so I'm just gonna pretend that
just
you
blast on through. Okay.
didn't.
Go ahead.
But they haven't opened, and like a bunch of the other ones haven't opened either. And I don't know if it's like the government, like the governor mandate or what it is, but like only drive-through ones are open, and now it's balls cold, so I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
Anyway, I don't generally look at like reviews. Like I'll go on like Rotten Tomatoes and I'll see like what their percentages are.
Okay,
yeah, but like, oh goodness, I'm an old lady.
Looks like you need more coffee.
No, it's 8:00 at night, mister.
Mm.
So I'll like go on and like look at the percentage and stuff. But like if I buy something, I'll look at 800 reviews, but I won't ever write reviews on either of those things. So like I wonder like who these people are who like write reviews. And here I am like on a podcast now rating Nicolas Cage films and basically like reviewing them.
Yeah, that's this whole thing is.
But like I never did that in the past at all. Like it was never my jam. But we did. Oh, what did we? I don't think we did it on the G-Force episode, but we did it on the one before it. No, maybe it was on the G-Force episode.
It was on the G-Force episode.
Oh yeah, where we like read the reviews
Basically,
and stuff.
this movie cured my cancer.
Yeah. But yeah, I kind of wonder like who these people are that are like writing all of these fantastic reviews or not so fantastic reviews. And like the people who get really serious about things like time travel, like it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a time.
Like movie theory debating, basically.
Yeah. So we are pretty well through with that. We've got some blind stuff to talk about.
Oh yeah, we had a couple questions come in.
Yeah.
One question was, how do you go about finding audio described content specifically? And I'm only going to answer this for Netflix because it's the best system so far that I found, at least. If you just type into the search bar on Netflix audio description or audio described, it will show you a list of every single audio described piece of content they have, which is really nice. The iPhone app, you used to be able to go under the categories and select audio described, and then it would be sorted in kind of a better, more functional way where like it would separate the shows into like, TV shows, comedies, dramas, just like it does on the like standard main page. But in this most recent update, wasn't able to find that option. So just search audio description and it'll just give you the huge list of stuff that's got it. But I will say almost all Netflix originals have audio description, and Netflix themselves are actually going in and adding on the audio description to other shows of theirs. So yeah, that's the easiest one. And then on like Amazon or Hulu or HBO has almost zero audio described content.
I haven't found a single thing.
Yeah, haven't found anything. So, but on the other services, you kind of just have to luck of the draw, like select a show, and then it'll be listed under
languages.
Like
usually?
yeah, the languages.
Yeah.
So yeah, like English, French, Spanish, closed captioning, and then audio description. And there's apparently a symbol similar to the closed caption symbol, but it says AD.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those are your options. Otherwise, I mean, if you're blind, you already know the little secret resources. But if you don't, hit me up in the DMs and I can hook you up with some probably legal stuff to get audio description. Otherwise, yeah, just type it in on Netflix and you can find it there. What was the other question?
It was from Lindsay.
Oh, dreams. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So someone sent us a message and asked about dreaming, and whether or not it has changed for me since I lost my sight. And the short answer is no. I didn't necessarily lose the ability to dream when I lost the ability to see. And in the past, while I was sighted, it was always kind of hit or miss as to whether or not I remembered my dreams. Like sometimes I would very vividly. Sometimes I'd remember like a little glimpse, and then other times just nothing. Is that like typical, you think? For it to
Yeah.
kind of vary? Okay. And so that didn't change at all. But the one thing that is, I guess, a little bit interesting is dreaming about things that I never saw. So an example would be people I've met since the sight loss. The way that I formulate what that person looks like is based on what they look like in my dream. So, I mean, obviously, like when I meet someone, I kind of visualize what I think they probably look like based on their like speech patterns and the tone of their voice and that kind of thing, right? But it's solidified based on what they look like in my dream. So there's that for you.
And I think you've talked about like what you might think people look like. So, hey, go on my Facebook, look up this person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. I guess that's kind of interesting. So if I meet a new person, a guy called Tom, and
Is he in your top 8?
Yeah. And we're talking about Tom, and I'm just curious whether or not like I have him visualized at least close in my mind. I'll say, go look up Josh in my Facebook friends list and tell me, does Tom look like Josh? Josh being the person that I knew before the sight loss, Tom being a person I met after. Most of the time the answer is no. But to get a little on the downer side, on the dreams thing, I'm slowly forgetting what certain things looked like. And I'm forgetting what certain people looked like. And I'm losing the ability to properly visualize them inside my dreams. They're just fading away. And that really sucks. A lot of things with the sight loss is, certain things have been hard. And that's definitely one of them. Is kind of just losing certain things and people a second time. So
I was really trying not to cry this time.
yeah, it's tough, and there are, it's a gigantic shift in how you exist, how you carry yourself through the world, a lot of it's not easy, and that's definitely a tough piece. I don't know. You got any something happy? I took us to I got dark like twice in this episode.
Yeah, you did. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily a happy thing, but do you want to talk about the Philly steak sandwich thing that happened?
Oh Jesus, yeah. We were at a restaurant last weekend, and I ordered just like a steak sandwich, and when the waitress brought it to the table, she tried to hand it to Ashley, and I was just like, "That's not mine. That's his." And the waitress said, "Oh, I thought maybe you'd want it first." And I was just like, "Why? Why?"
To spit in it?
And the waitress said, "To cut it for him." The implication being that I don't know how to cut my own sandwich. And we talked about it, Ashley and I, and decided to ask the lady, like, what were you going for there? Because it's a thing that happens very often with me, where people will just say or do really weird shit.
Yeah.
Like it's very common if Ashley and I are together, or if I'm with anyone, where they'll just talk to the other person like I'm not there. Like if I go out to a restaurant with my family, they'll ask like my sister, and what would he like? As if I can't communicate I don't know. So we asked the lady, and the best I could understand what she was doing was she wasn't sure that I would know there was a knife on the plate.
Mm-hmm.
But it's as simple as just telling me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think people freak out before realizing that they can just talk to me, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Or like the time we went to a doctor's appointment, and as we walked in, someone said, can he put on a mask? And you just turned to me and said, can you put on a mask?
Yeah, I've just like taken to doing that. Like even after you like voted that one time, they're like, does he want a sticker? And I was like, I don't know, Jordan, do you want a sticker? Like, why can't you communicate directly to that person?
It's very confusing.
And like, I know that like, and Jordan and I have kind of talked about this. I'm not sure if we talked about it on the podcast or not, but like Jordan is kind of like put in this like weird place, and that I'm kind of getting like the rub off of basically of like people are nice and sometimes they offer to help, but sometimes they're either more in the way or they're doing it in a really problematic way. And you don't want to chastise them because like you don't want them to feel bad. But at the same time, like they should know like if someone is blind, you should talk directly to them unless like you're given a reason to like.
I mean, the real deal is to just treat humans like humans.
Yeah.
But it's the same, I guess. So like the best way that I like can like analogize how it operates with me is imagine there's someone like pushing their own wheelchair down the sidewalk, and you just run up behind them and start pushing it for them. That's going to be very alarming for them, and it's not something they need or want in a lot of cases. They're just not interested.
Yeah.
And for them to tell you, hey, stop, is going to make you, the helper, feel like shit, and they know that. So what essentially happens is I end up looking like an asshole for telling people that they're helping wrong. And it feels really terrible as me, the person who's just trying to walk through and live life as a just regular, any old person. And these people keep essentially diving into my way to help me, which is very much appreciated. And that's what like the issue is that I get to try to live my life normally while also feeling like an asshole for it. And it is really difficult.
Yeah.
Because it's understandable if I'm trying to help someone and they tell me no, I should just say, "Oh, okay," and walk away. But people get so upset and offended and get that I was just trying to help. And I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah. I mean, there have been times like even I've been like, oh, like when you're like, if you grab my arm, it doesn't help me at all. And I'm just like, oh, like I'm not upset. I think I'm just more like taken aback.
Right.
But that I have the advantage of, you know, being with you
and knowing
all the time and like knowing you and stuff. But I think it just kind of at times can come naturally. But like now I notice it a lot. Like if someone's trying to help you with a door, like with anything, and like, and sometimes like I'll do something and you're like, just use your words. And like, I can look at it from the outside and be like, yeah, obviously. But when you're in it, sometimes it's so hard to be. It
stings a little bit.
Yeah, it does. Like, oh, like I just didn't think about it. And like, you shouldn't be made to feel bad to like point out like, hey, this is how I'd prefer to be helped.
Right.
But like you have every right to tell people like how you prefer to be helped or not at all.
Right. And that's the honestly, like at the end of the day, it is the case that I really appreciate helpfulness and the willingness and eagerness of people to help in some way. But you should be as eager to receive guidance on the type of help or whether or not I want help. Like if you're so helpful and so nice and kind, that should also translate to being able to receive some guidance or be rebuffed by me and just not be offended by it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a more eloquent way to phrase that, and I might try to find. There was a really good article on like the burden being on disabled people of like having to fight your way through people offering assistance and sounding like an asshole for telling them no, basically. Like ungrateful or unappreciative type.
Yeah. I can find it, or you can find it. We can
Yeah,
find
we'll-
it, and I'll put it in the
throw it in
notes.
the links,
Yeah.
But did you have a Nic Cage fact for me?
I sure do.
What you got?
Did you know that Nic Cage has tattoos?
No.
Okay, so Nic Cage has tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
Most notably, he has a large tattoo on his back of a lizard in a top hat and cane.
No way. Do you have a
Uh-huh.
picture of it? Have you seen a picture of it?
There are like some pictures, but they're like very like angled and you can't really see it very well.
Damn.
Yeah. So apparently it was to claim his own body, and that, quote, other cultures have initiations into manhood, and that's what the tattoo was for me.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I want one. It's like Michigan J. Frog.
Yeah.
He's the hell of my lady, hell of my darling.
Yeah, we were just talking about that the other day.
That's his name, is Michigan J. Frog.
Michigan J. Frog.
Yeah. That is wild.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You thought your tattoos were cool.
Yeah.
Tell us what tattoos you have.
No. I'll
No,
pass.
I'm telling the audience. Interact with us.
Oh,
Tell us what
okay. I
tattoos
was like,
you
no,
had.
I'll keep
No,
mine
not
private.
you. No, not you.
Yeah. Hit us up in them comments.
Let us know
what tattoos you got.
Let us know if you have any weird tattoos. Do I have any weird tattoos?
I think everyone's got a weird tattoo. Anyone that has tattoos has a tattoo they can probably call weird.
I think I've lost count of my tattoos, so I don't remember which ones I all have.
But yeah, make sure to share us on the socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Give us a rate review on the Apple
old
Podcasts.
Apple
Yeah,
Podcasts.
that's super helpful.
It puts it in front of more people. It
Yeah.
puts it in more people's ears, and that's really helpful for us.
Yeah, we're trying to leverage an audience to make changes for the better in the world, and also for my dog to headbutt the table.
He's been so restless tonight.
Seriously. But yeah, just share us with a friend. Tell someone.
Tell your cat.
Tell your cat. Yeah, little kitties.
Get your kitty an iPhone.
You got anything else?
No, I'm good to go.
Yeah. Hit us up for those stickers.
Oh, yeah, stickers. Oh, my gosh, don't forget stickers.
All right, love you. Bye.